Vladimir Putin has just landed in Japan for much-anticipated talks with Prime Minister Shinzo Abe. A 70-year-old land dispute and World War II peace treaty are set to be on the agenda during his two-day visit. Let's cross live now to Tokyo. RT's Daniel Hawkins now joining us. Dan, good to see you. Putin's visit is, well, highly anticipated, a lot of hype in the media. What do you think?
It certainly is highly anticipated, Rory. Mr. Putin has finally landed after a few hours of delay. Not something uncommon, put it that way, in his foreign visits. He'll be going, first of all, to meet the Japanese Premier, Prime Minister Abe, in his home constituency, where they'll be having bilateral talks in the hot thermal springs. Unusually, perhaps, it's worth noting that this is the first time that Prime Minister Abe has invited a foreign leader, a foreign dignitary, into his home constituency, extending such a warm welcome. Mr. Putin will then be visiting the Japanese Prime Minister in Tokyo, where there will be more items on the agenda. One of them you mentioned there, the territorial dispute, of which there are high hopes that it will be resolved, although both leaders have sought to dampen those rumours perhaps, as well as economic cooperation on technology, on medical equipment and energy as well. So certainly a lot to talk about. And you're quite right, there has been a lot of anticipation here in the media, generally well taken certainly by people on the streets we've spoken to, although it's impossible to say that everybody has been happy about this visit. For decades, Japan has had a close relationship with the US. It's set to get closer with the signing of the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, heralding a new era of growth and development.
Both in the market access as well as new rules that will certainly benefit Japan, and as well as 11 other TPP participating countries.
Sounds perfect, but is it also rosy? Aside from the usual protests against TPP's damage to some sectors of Japan's economy, some view this as a surrendering of sovereignty.
Japan has treaties with the US, but it's an unequal relationship in which the US is the master. The Japanese government claims to have an independent foreign policy, but really the US dictates policy making. Japan has made no effort to improve the terms of its agreements.
It's not just economics. Japan has long been a playground for US troops. Public opinion is seemingly split on how necessary this is.
Yes, that's good. They protect us from China and Russia threats.
Does Japan need that many bases?
80 is too many. We don't need that many US bases here.
And it's not only numbers. The country is regularly shaken by scandals of US soldiers committing crimes, tens of thousands over the years, many of the highest gravity. Jane Fisher was assaulted by a soldier who was allowed to flee to the US to escape punishment. Now a campaigner for justice, she's in disbelief at the government's inaction.
And I can't understand why this shameful, disgusting thing just keeps on happening over and over again. I'm actually trying hard not to cry. I really don't know how people could sleep at night, government officials, knowing that this has happened for so many years.
It seems that the special relationship isn't necessarily a win-win situation, and with close involvement both in the economic and military spheres, evidently Washington thinks it can influence Japan's politics as well. Daniel Hawkins, RT, Tokyo.
Plenty of stories still to come here on RT International today, including the US media now claiming the Russian President Vladimir Putin himself was solely behind the hacking of the US presidential election. That story after the break.